How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of a River Horse. I'll probably throw this up with its little cousin I just reviewed, and that would be their Craic. This is an Imperial Dry Irish Stout, aged with coffee and vanilla beans in Jameson casks. This comes courtesy of my boy Joe, NEP Beer Review Joe. He's an actual brewer at River Horse now. As far as what they talk about this beer, let's start pouring it. Outdoor reviews. Love it. Ooh, that's looking good. Ooh, burps. Anyway, what do they say about this beer? Craic was born. Was born in 2017 when River Horse Brewing had the honor of becoming one of the early Jameson Caskmates partners. This dry Irish-style stout aged in Jameson barrels with vanilla and coffee beans, inspired by the traditional Irish coffee, strong as a friendly hand and smooth as the wit of the land. This was canned 2/18, 1 month and a day before my boy was born. Yeah. I like the labeling. I didn't talk about it in the other one, but I actually like the labeling on this one. But what does that look like? Looks like a stout, man. A little bit richer, a little bit bolder than a dry export stout. Is that what they call it? A dry Irish stout. Dry Irish stout, export stout. Same ballpark. Looks a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder. You're talking about 9.1% coffee, vanilla, barrel. It's going to look a little bit different, but definitely looks the part of a nice stout. Get a nose. I mean, I really like the way this nose is coming off. It comes off a nice roast from the actual beer itself. Nice soft roastiness, a little bit of chocolate vibes, a little bit of bittering astringency from the roast. Nothing too big. The vanilla comes through, but it's very light-handed, not super heavy. You might get a little bit from the barrel itself, so I like the level over here. And that coffee kind of augments and supplements that roast from the actual malt itself. So nothing here is like overshadowing each other, and there's the ever so slightest bit of a vanilla rubbed barrel char kind of whiskey component here. Nose isn't huge, but it's bold enough, big enough to kind of turn you on in the way everything's balanced throughout. It actually smells pretty damn nice. Let's take a sip. Cheers. Okay. You didn't definitely know it's an Irish dry stout once you actually taste it, because it comes off very, very dry. The way this kind of takes those kind of sweeter components of that chocolate, of that barrel, of that whiskey, and all those things, and kind of tosses it into something with this level of under-sweetness and dryness, while still imparting the parts of the beer and the whiskey and the adjuncts, is pretty damn fun. You're not going to mistake this as like an Irish dry stout, an export stout, something along those lines. Even with this ABV level, you expect it to show something a little bit bolder, a little bit richer, a little bit more aggressive of sweetness. You're just not getting it here. And the way this beer just kind of melds all that together in such a short period of time. You're talking, this can is a month old. I don't know how long it's spent in a barrel, but it tastes like a beer that's spent a good portion of time in a barrel, then a decent portion of time in the actual can itself. I applaud that kind of, for the lack of a better word, roundness and gentleness, because it just doesn't get too aggressive. The vanilla's quite small, the coffee's quite small. I think it needs to be that way in order to balance and show the way it's showing here. I like it. It's not otherworldly. It's not going to change my opinion of barrel-aged stouts. The red ale I actually liked quite a bit more. But I like the things that people would probably poop on this beer about, I really, really do enjoy. And that is the softness, the dryness, the lightness of the beer, with those adjuncts showing up, is great. Soft chocolate vibes, vanilla comes through, not super heavy-handed. I could almost say this is vanilla from like a heavy out addition and combination of the barrel without added vanilla. The coffee is augmenting the roast of the beer itself. I believe it's almost adding a bolder, richer depth to the actual malt bill, as opposed to being a huge coffee beer. And that whiskey, while subtle, is there, but it's really more the barrel that's showing up, and adding kind of an additional depth to that roast, because it's a barrel char with a soft vanilla that's melding with everything else and coming off really, really nice. I like it quite a bit. Good stuff. Is this one of the better barrel-aged stouts I've had? It's like, yeah. Is it one of the Mount Rushmore level stuff? No. But I like it nonetheless. Value and availability on this sucker. I don't know. Like I said, my buddy Joe gave it to me, but their price point is typically reasonable, and it can be had, and leave you with if you like, well, you like this beer. If you like Irish, if you like dry stouts, let's put it that way, and you like barrel aging, and you like the beer to be at forefront in barrel and or adjunct laden beers, you're really going to like this beer, to be perfectly honest with you. I kind of want to do a cuvee of that other one in this one. I'm going to do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. So this is the other one I reviewed. I'll post them at the same time so that way you guys can get an idea. This is their actual River Horse. This is a Jameson cask Irish red. I want to do with like a red ale kind of stout mixture and see how it comes off, because I think this is actually just a super fun beer, and I think it might blend together well and come off super fun as a blended beer. So I think I got about the equal parts going on there. Let's get a nose. Much more muted nose across the board, which is really kind of weird because the other one had a big sweetness to it. This one might not make sense, dryness to sweetness. Might not work out all that well. See how it checks out. Let's just dive in. Cheers. That's not bad, but it's missing the key parts of each beer, so it's kind of a bummer. Because it's the dryness with the adjunct is really what sells this. The rich kind of caramel barley wine light vibe you get on this one over here is really what did me over here. Let's pour a little more of that in there. I think if you had a little bit more of that, we might have a winner on our hands. Yeah, it's a tasty beer. Individually, they're the best though. Let's put it that way. Fun little cuvee at the end. Surprise cuvee. So there you go. I mean, fun little beer. And like I said, if you dig what at the end there, like I said, if you like your dry stouts and you like your adjuncts, you want them blended really well. They do a really good job of this. Grand scheme of things, the Rua, the red ale is probably my favorite of the bunch, but it's a tasty beer. Would never turn this away. Really good stuff. So there you go. Review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif if you want to check me out doing the podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little cask mates right now. I'll see you next time. Cheers.